Are you afraid of confrontation? Then this episode's for you. Let's free you from the fear together. Welcome to Boundary Bungalow, a cozy space for recovering people pleasers to create, practice, and love their boundaries. Stay kind, grow wild, be soft, and stand strong. Today, we're talking about confrontation. And a lot of people I talk to, and I used to be one of these people, would say, I don't like confrontation. I'm afraid of confrontation. And as I said, that used to be me. I used to think that if I had to confront somebody, they would not like me, or I would get angry and lose my temper. So I've spent quite a bit of time and research learning different techniques on how to approach confrontation and make it work for me and for the person I'm speaking with. When it comes to confrontation, the most important thing that you need to do is reframe your mindset. Instead of thinking of confrontation as something scary and aggressive, where you have to be angry and people are shouting, there are much better ways to think of it. And also, if I'm going to be honest, more truthful ways to think about it. Number one, think about confrontation as going from conflict to clarification. Confrontation doesn't have to be fighting. It's not about fighting. It's about getting really clear. When you approach something and address it, nice words that mean the same thing as confrontation. When you approach something and address it, you can clarify misunderstandings before they grow. If you leave things unattended, they grow wild, like weeds. Nobody wants weeds in their garden, whatever you decide to call a weed. So you need to tend it, just like you need to tend your communication. And confrontation, recognizing and addressing an issue, is how you clarify misunderstandings before they grow. It's not about attacking people. You're gently shining a light on some confusion, and you're asking about clarity so you can both process what's going on and see what the miscommunication is, what the confusion is. This helps you get to the core and build a stronger relationship with the person you're discussing with. The second reframe of confrontation I have is going from threat to a boundary practice. Confrontation doesn't mean that you have to defend yourself. It's an opportunity to practice your boundaries out loud in the spoken word. It's not a test of power. If somebody is ranting and raving, and you center yourself and hold that calm stillness, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to justify your reasons. You can be calm and still and let the other person make a fool of themselves. You can look at it as a practice session for your boundaries to give you an opportunity to practice everything we work on here in real life. Reframe number 3 is from danger to dialogue. Confrontations or addressing issues doesn't have to make things worse. A lot of people believe that if you have to confront something, it's going to make things so much worse. And if you, in truth, 100%, not going to lie, if you confront and you're ugly about it and you're aggressive and ragey, that can make things worse. However, if you're opening dialogue honestly and kindly, it'll give you a chance to stop performing whatever you're performing and connect authentically. It might be a little uncomfortable at first, telling people what you really feel and what you really think. But that's how we learn and grow. Everything is uncomfortable at first. Think about the first time you got behind the wheel of a car. I was terrified. I was convinced I was going to crash and kill everyone. And now I'm an excellent driver. So you trade those few moments of discomfort. You pay. That is the price you pay for experience and comfort in being able to address issues more calmly and with clarity, and creating a healing dialogue. The fourth reframe is thinking of confrontation not as an explosion, but as an expression. And yes, you are only responsible for yourself. You can only control yourself. And it's entirely possible that the other person may explode. You can hold your center, you can hold your peace, and use this as an opportunity to express yourself before you explode. The door swings both ways here. You build up emotions too, and the more you manage them, regulate them, process them, get them out in real time, and have that discussion with the person you need to, the less likely it is for you to build up all these negative emotions and finally explode or break down. When you take care of things early, it prevents them from building up. It's like early prevention. Confrontation is early prevention to prevent blow-ups later on. My last reframe is taking confrontation from the idea of rejection to the idea of respect. Like I said at the beginning, everybody worries that if they say no or if they oppose someone, that they will no longer be liked. But when you address your issues, when you confront issues, you are showing respect to yourself and to the other person. And it is likely that at the very least, they will in turn respect you and what you have to say. It'll become an authentic situation of truth and harmony, not a fake harmony where you're just going along to get along when you're seething underneath or they're seething underneath and the other party is completely clueless. I have in the past been completely terrified of confrontation, and it has taken me long years and lots of practice to learn how to confront people with kindness and peace. One great example I have of a winning conversation, a winning confrontation, I confronted my mother's doctor. He did not want to clear her for surgery, and that was fine. I respected his decision. However, it would be really great for the situation if he would agree to allowing another doctor to clear her. So when I first asked for her old primary care to clear her, her current doctor said no. He wasn't going to approve it, and he was in a position to need to approve it. This had been discussed by email. Then we moved to talking on the phone. With this confrontation, this is where we got to understand that we had different misconceptions about what was going on. He said to me, if your mother's former primary prescribes anything, I don't have to accept it. And I said, okay. Because that wasn't the issue. I didn't expect my mother's primary to prescribe anything. We were just looking for a surgery clearance. My mother's primary has been with my mom for 20 years. She knows my mom very well. And I completely understand why her current doctor didn't want to do the clearance. So after we talked, and he's a newer doctor, so he came out full new Dr. Bluster. Also, a moment of truth, I do have some experience in the medical field, so this did not surprise me, nor did it ruffle my feathers. And I just gave him the facts. Doesn't it make sense to have someone who's known my mom for 20 years to clear her for surgery? And it makes sense. And he's like, well, yeah. So in the end, after we talked, he approved my mom's former doctor to approve her for surgery, to clear her for surgery. Now, I could have absolutely gone straight over his head and done it anyway, because he couldn't actually stop me. However, it was much better for the situation if we were all on the same page together. After the conversation with him, I was able to clear up the misconceptions that were happening. That was a confrontation, and it led to great communication. And now I have a great understanding of my mother's current doctor, and he has great respect for me as an advocate for my mom. So it is worthwhile to develop your skills of confrontation, of addressing issues with clear communications. This is a boundary issue as well. You need to communicate your boundaries for them to be respected. When people want to see if they can get more out of you, and that is the way people are, you need to hold your boundaries firm, and that requires addressing issues, aka confrontation. I hope these reframes have helped you. And if you would like more support on creating and practicing boundaries, I invite you to join me in the Boundary Bungalow School. It is currently free to the end of 2025, and it is really a cozy space for recovering people pleasers to create, practice, and love their boundaries. So until I see you next time, stay kind, grow wild, be soft, and stand strong.